Welcome to the video lectures on course Radiation and Microwave Techniques. In this session, we are going to start with unit number 4, that is passive microwave components. Basically, in this unit, we are going to deal with the construction, working principle and the scattering analysis of passive microwave components such as E-plane, H-plane and magic T. And in the latter part of this unit, we will be going through the ferrite composition, their characteristics, the Faraday's rotation principle, and then we will see the construction, working and the scattering analysis of gyrator, isolator, circulator, and we will also go through directional coupler in this unit. So this is the lecture 1 of unit number 4. In that we will start with E-plane T junction. So let's move to the content that will be covered in this today's lecture, that is learning outcome. Why we do not prefer this Z, Y, H and T parameters in microwave devices. We will define S parameters for two-port network. We will see the properties of S parameters. Then we will see the S matrix for N-port network. Then we will see what is waveguide junction, and then we will start with the E-plane T junction. We will see its construction, working principle, and then we will go for derivation of the S matrix of E-plane T junction. Coming to the learning outcome, after completion of this lecture, students will be able to understand the concept of S parameters, understand waveguide junction, that is E-plane T junction, and after this lecture the students will also be able to derive the scattering matrix of E-plane T junction. So now let's start with the today's session with this question, why not the Z, Y, H and T parameters, why they are not preferred for analysis of microwave devices. So the low frequency circuits, they can be represented in the two-port network and they can be characterized by their parameters, that is the impedance, admittance, voltage gain, current gain, etc. All these parameters, they relate to total voltages and current at the two ports. If frequencies are in microwave range, this H, Y and Z parameters cannot be measured for the following reasons. That is, at microwave frequencies, equipments are not available to measure the voltages and currents at the port of the network. The short and the open circuits, they are difficult to achieve over a broad band of frequencies, and active devices such as power transistor, tunnel diodes frequently will not have the stability for the short and the open circuit. So consequently, some new method of characterization is needed to overcome these problems. So at microwave frequency, the logical variable used are the traveling waves with associated power rather than total voltages and the total currents. So the logical variables, they are called as S parameters. Now let's define the S parameter for a two-port network. So consider this two-port network. In this two-port network, you can see this A1 and A2. These are the incoming waves. So A1 is the incoming wave at this port 1. This is the port 1 and this is port 2. So A1 is the incoming wave at port 1. A2 is incoming wave at port 2. This B1 is the reflected wave from port 1 and B2 is the reflected wave from port 2. So B1 and B2 are the outgoing waves from the two ports. So the S parameters, they are expressed as B1 is equal to S11 into A1 plus S12 into A2. Similarly, the B2 is represented as S21 into A1 plus S22 A2. We can write that as the matrix of B is equal to S into the matrix of A. So what is this B? It is a column matrix corresponding to the reflected waves or the output. S is the scattering matrix and the elements of it are called as the scattering parameters, and the size of this matrix is n into n. And here this A is the column matrix corresponding to the incident wave or the input. We can simply write this as the matrix of B equal to matrix of S into matrix of A. So the parameters S11, S12, S21 and S22 are obtained as follows. So to calculate S11, we have made A2 equal to 0. So if we make A2 equal to 0, we get S11 is equal to B1 upon A1. So this is nothing but the reflection coefficient at port 1 with A2 equal to 0. Now S21 can be calculated by making A2 equal to 0. We get S21 equal to B2 by A1, which is nothing but the transmission coefficient from port 1 to port 2. Now S22 can be calculated by making A1 equal to 0. We get S22 equal to B2 by A2, which is the reflection coefficient at port 2 with A1 equal to 0, and S12 equal to B1 by B2 at A1 equal to 0, which is the transmission coefficient from port 2 to port 1. Now we will see the properties of S parameter. The first property is reciprocity. The two-port network is reciprocal if the transmission characteristics they are same in both the direction. That is, S21 is equal to S12, or simply we can say Sij equal to Sji. A network is reciprocal if it is equal to its transpose. So it can be mathematically stated as S is equal to S transpose. So you can see the S transpose of the scattering matrix is shown over here. And the second property is for any matched port I, the Sii is equal to 0. That is, for any matched port 1, we can say S11 is equal to 0. If the second port is matched port, we can write S22 equal to 0. The third property is the lossless networks. A lossless network does not contain any resistive element and there is no attenuation of signal. No real power is delivered to the network. Consequently, for any passive lossless network, what goes in must come out. So in terms of scattering parameters, a network is lossless if S transpose into the S conjugates is equal to unit matrix, which is having the diagonal elements 1. For a two-port network, the product of the transpose matrix and the complex conjugate matrix yields into this equations. So this mod of S11 square plus mod of S21 square is equal to 1, which is called as the unitary property, and this S11 into S12 conjugate plus S21 into S22 conjugate is equal to 0. That is the orthogonal property of S matrix. Now coming to the S matrix for n-port network, if we are having B1, B2 and so on up to Bn reflected waves, for that the S parameters and the input waves they are given with this equations. So we can simply write for n-port network the matrix of B equal to matrix of S parameter into the matrix of A, where you know what is this B matrix. It is a column matrix corresponding to the reflected waves. S is the scattering matrix and A is the matrix, column matrix corresponding to the incident waves. Now moving on to the today's topic, starting with the waveguide multiport junctions. We will see what are this multiport junction. So the interconnection of two or more microwave devices, they can be regarded as microwave junction. In microwave circuits, a waveguide or a coaxial line with three independent ports are commonly referred to as a T-junction. In microwave circuits, these T-junctions, they are used to split power into or to combine the signals from two inputs with proper consideration of phase. From S parameter theory, it is evident that the device is characterized by the third order matrix consisting of 9 elements, 6 of which will be independent. The junctions that are widely used, they are E plane T, H plane T, EH plane T, which is also called as magic T, and the last one is the hybrid rings. So in this lecture we will see the H plane T, and in the further discussions we will go for H plane T and the magic T also. So before proceeding to E plane T or any other T junction, we should know the field in the TE10 mode of the rectangular waveguide, which is the dominant mode. So you know this is the rectangular waveguide which is placed along XY plane and the wave is propagating along the Z direction. The electric field for this TE10 mode and the rectangular waveguide, it is indicated, and you know the nature of the electric field for TE10 mode is in such a way. Now coming to the E plane T, now we will see the construction of E plane T. An E plane T junction, it is formed by attaching a simple waveguide to the broader dimension of a rectangular waveguide which already has two ports, as you can see in the figure. The arms of the rectangular waveguide, they make the two ports which are called as collinear ports, which is port 1 and port 2. And while the new one which is added is the port 3, which is also called as E arm, or it is also called as side arm or the auxiliary arm. And this is called as E plane T because the plane of the auxiliary arm is parallel to the plane of the electric field of the dominant mode TE10 in the main waveguide. So we have seen this rectangular waveguide TE10 mode, it has the electric field in this direction, which is parallel to the auxiliary arm. So this T junction, it is called as E plane T. Now we will see the working of this E plane T. Consider a TE10 mode is incident at the port 3 of E plane T. This is the port 3, port 1 and port 2 of E plane T. The electric field lines, you can see in the figure, they will be perpendicular to the broad side of the waveguide. As these electric field lines, they travel downwards the junction, so while passing through the junction, these lines, they bend. And after traveling some distance, these lines, electric field lines, they will become vertical. And they will come out of the port 1 and 2. We can say that from the figure, that is if we feed input at port 3, we get output at port 1 and port 2. You can see the magnitude is same, but they both are out of phase. So we can write it as S13 is equal to minus of S23. Conversely, if the field of opposite polarities, if they are fed into two ports from the port 1 and port 2, the field that is arising out of the port 3 will be the addition of both the fields. And if the field of same polarities, if they are fed into this port 1 and port 2, the field that emerges out of the port 3 are opposite in phase and they cancel out each other. So we will have zero output at the port 3. So moving on to the scattering matrix derivation of E plane T. As we know, this is a 3-port device, so we will have scattering matrix of order n into n, that is 3 by 3 matrix, which will be given as when the waves they are fed into the side arm, that is in the port 3, we know the wave will appear at port 1 and port 2 of the collinear arm and they will be in opposite phase and they will have same magnitude. So we can write S13 is equal to minus of S23. In E-plane T, the port 3 is perfectly matched. So S33 is equal to 0. Now from the symmetry property, that is we know Sij is equal to Sji, we can write S12 equal to S21, S13 equal to S31, S23 is equal to S32. Now the new S matrix, after putting those values, we get this S matrix. Now we will use the unitary property, that is S into S conjugate is equal to unitary matrix. So putting the S matrix and the S conjugate and multiplying this and equating it to the unitary matrix, we will get the first equation, that is row 1 and column 1, which is S11 into S11 conjugate plus S12 into S12 conjugate plus S13 into S13 conjugate. From the unitary property, we can write it as mod of S11 square plus mod of S12 square plus mod of S13 square equal to 1. Similarly, R2 and into C2 we will get this equation, that is mod of S11 square plus mod of S22 square plus mod of S13 square equal to 1. Similarly, R3 into C3 we get mod of S13 square plus mod of S13 square equal to 1. Here we can say it is twice of S13 square equal to 1. So we get S13 equal to 1 by root 2. Now we have found out this value of S13. Now we want to calculate the value of S11, S12 and S22. For that, from equation 1 and equation 2, we can write S11 equal to S22. Now we will do the multiplication of row 3 and column 1, which yield us with S13 into S11 conjugate minus S13 into S12 conjugate equal to 0, which is orthogonal property. So S13 we have brought common and we get S11 conjugate minus S12 conjugate equal to 0. From here we get S11 equal to S12. Putting equation 4 in the equation 1 and the value of S13 equal to 1 by root 2, we get this equation. This is twice of mod of S11 square plus 1 by under root of 2 square, which is equal to 1. We get S11 equal to 1 by 2. As we know, S11 is equal to S12 as well as it is equal to S22. So the value of S11, S12 and S22 is equal to 1 by 2. Now we have obtained all the values of S11, S12, S22 and S13. So the final S matrix of E-plane T, after putting those values in this S matrix, we get the S matrix of E-plane T. So summarizing this lecture, we have seen the S matrix for two-port network. We have seen the properties of the S matrix, and then we started with the waveguide junctions, for what purpose this waveguide junctions they are used, and then we moved on to the E-plane T. We saw how the E-plane T is constructed and what are its properties, and then we have solved the derivation related to the S matrix of E-plane T. Thank you.